Hey guys, okay, so this is so impromptu of a channeled message or recognized message from source that it doesn't even have a video. It's just a quick vocal clip. But I thought I should share it with you because that's what I'm being asked to do. So anyway, so of course I'm sitting here minding my business per the usual, and I'm reading A Course in Miracles, which if you follow my channel, thank you so much. You know I love that book. For me, it's what my soul has given me to help me along my journey. And, everybody has different things, but this is my thing for the time being and has been for, I guess, over the past 10 years, maybe about 12 years. Anyway, so I'm sitting here and I'm reading it and also working on something. So I'm splitting my time as usual. And not out of the blue, because I'm already studying with my spirit teachers in spirit, and they said I am God, and I'm like, because this is what comes through the channel often. We often hear that we are source having a temporary experience that appears physical and all of that, but we've just forgotten who we are, blah, 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 blah. You know this. If you follow this channel, that messages come through. But they're like, out of the blue, they're like, you are God, you just haven't recognized it yet, right? And in that moment, I like to call them instructional moments, quote unquote, because in those instructional moments, there's always a component of wisdom, which we can read from pages and hear all over our world, but there's the extra component of teaching that cannot be done by someone in the physical. It can only be done or accomplished by a non-physical being because of their ability. So in those moments, there's always this rush of visceral awareness. It's like an aha moment combined with the teacher presence, combined with the knowledge, combined with all kinds of understanding. So there's just always something more to it. And imagine, thanks. They're like, it's actually it's more of a holistic learning than we're able to experience just in the body, working with people who are in the body, right? So anyway, that's why, as I always say, go back to the self, really connect with yourself, open up that pathway, and your spiritual teachers. Everybody has spiritual teachers. And in fact, they're watching you listen to this clip right now. Just turn to your left and right and say, hey. Anyway, and so they said, they said, you are God, you just haven't recognized it. And when they say recognize, they don't mean recognize because, you've been studying this for your whole life, you've lived on a mountaintop, or you've been steeped in whatever religious institution you're in, or you lead Bible study somewhere, or you have had this life of whatever. They don't mean that kind of recognition. They mean the kind of recognition that rings through your soul. It's like an ultimate aha moment. And the best word that we have on this planet in English that I know, and I know a lot of words, is the word visceral, right? It's when you have that visceral moment. And we've had different degrees of visceral moments. We've seen the visceral moment where it's the slow clap. It's like the, time slows down. You look around and you're like, yes. And you're like, yes, admiring it, and you're in awe of it. We saw that moment in one of my favorite movies, The Illusionist, with my favorite actor, Edward Norton and Paul Giamatti. Okay, and that scene towards the end when Paul Giamatti. Oh, no spoilers! Oh my gosh. Anyway, so there's a slow clap moment with Paul Giamatti, and you need to go watch that movie. No sponsorships here. But that's an example of a visceral moment. But even more so, there are visceral moments where you could feel it ring through different levels of your being. So you're not even in a moment where you're clapping, where you're like in awe and you're like saying, I get it, like kudos to you, whoever you are out there. It's not even like that. It's just like, wow, I feel this on every level of my being. This is right. This is true. I know this. And that sense of knowing doesn't come from anything that you've learned on this planet, because at best, anything that you've learned on this planet could be in relation to what is, described as nothing more than like, let's say, two-dimensional, right? Because there's always this, dialectic that we're engaging in when we're quote unquote learning down here. But when true knowledge comes in, your whole being resonates with it. So you ring with it, so to speak. Now, here's the kicker. That immediately after I was having this, my guides were like, video. Of course, me partially listening, I'm doing and dropping an audio. Sorry guys, love you. But here I looked at the book, I'm looking down on the page, and then I noticed this book is like pretty long. Let's say about the version I have is about 1,000 pages, 945, right? And I'm on page 101286 doing a reread, right? And so therefore most of the pages are on the left. And from my vantage point, I could see all of the pages splayed out. And as if, I'm trying to explain it. I don't know how to explain it. But like, let's say you have your book closed and then you can draw or write on the edge of all of those books. So if you have a closed book and you're just looking at it, as I close the book, boom, and you look at it, somebody could write a message on the edge of the pages. So from the closed book, you can actually see something written there. And as I'm looking there, I don't have anything written there. But what I am seeing is just a whole bunch of ink pieces from the pages when I would be writing in the margins, and it would tip over and onto the next page or just whatever. And now as I'm looking here, I plain flat out see a happy face. And I'm like, what? It's like looking at me dead in my face. And I was thinking, and in that moment, I could still feel the resonance of truth. And it's almost like if in a movie, we have like a moment where there's the main character has an awareness across time and space and can hear the laughing of children's voices. And in that moment, there's a communication with himself and some other being, or, something like that. The laughter rang through the halls, and that laughter would be representing the, we told you so, or we told you it was just a dream, or see, nothing's wrong. See, we're all laughing. See, you chose to be here. See, you're actually having fun. You're playing. And I'm thinking, me with my 10 million problems. Like everybody, I got 99 problems, right? As I look down, I just literally see the numbers 99 too, just to let you guys know, spirits out here. But yeah, and it's like in that moment, I touched myself and I realized, oh yeah, I am God and God is a child, so to speak. And I've always heard that, oh, God is really, this idea of children. We are, children of the Creator. We're all like little children. We're literally like children. And here we are playing. And I remember one time many, many years ago, before I got into doing this work, I was actually still in school. And anyway, I was going through a tough time. And in that moment, I had like this, not out of body experience, but anyway, I don't want to get into it too much because that's another story time. But I don't remember what I asked, but I think I asked something like, what am I doing here or something? And then I just heard this voice kind of say, we're just playing. We're playing around the universe. We're going around the universe and playing. And I've always thought about that over the years because, these ain't no games out here on this planet. I'm not having fun. Where's the fun here? But anyway, if you know, you know. But that just goes to show you we, in order to really quote unquote appreciate what we're experiencing down here, we must elevate the consciousness. And elevation of consciousness in a very simple way is just the expansion of your perspective so that you can view and become made aware of and be awakened to and be apprised of the larger picture. And so the larger up in picture that you're able to see of what is, the more you can see how things come together and make connections and understand. And that's why they say that the most holiest of people or holiest of man or whatever you want to call it is one who laughs. They're just laughing. They're looking upon the little children running. They're laughing. They're looking at the middle-aged and they're seeing their struggle, but they're getting them to laugh, and because they know what it's all about. And so when we're down here, crying and stressing. I mean, it seems kind of like yesterday. But anyway, right? This is when we're furthest away from what is, because we're caught up, quote unquote, within our minds and our quote unquote experiences. Anyway, the guides are reminding me to tell you about this happy face story. So I'm making this connection with myself because if you know me personally, you know my inner child is alive and well. It is well and alive. It is playing all day, up, down, in and out, even when it should be serious. But then I took a closer look because it's all starting to come together, like I said, in this aha moment. And I look at all the other pages and the writings that I've put in the margins and how it's spilling out onto the side of each page that I couldn't see, but when put together, as if looking at all these lifetimes I've led, right? But each page in this book put together, I'm seeing other happy faces. Now I see another happy face where the two eyes are literally like what look to be like coffee stains. You also know, if you know me personally, you know I'm all about those hot beverages. That's just where we are. And then also right underneath that, well, above it, because it's an upside down happy face, I see a random collection of pen markings, right, that look like a happy face or the smile. And then I see in see on these pages other faces, like two eyes, and then the one mouth isn't happy, it's just straight. And I see another one that just looks like it's going through some things, And suddenly I realized that these are all looking like little faces. And then with different expressions. And then I'm also seeing marks that don't come together to my conscious mind to form any recognizable shape. And to that, Spirit's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean they don't have a shape. It doesn't mean that too is not a happy face. It doesn't. All it is happy. Source, God, everything is happy, right? That's the natural state of things. It's joy. That's why the closer you get in your joy and stuff, the closer you are to God. The more you are in your depression and depressive beliefs, understandable. The further you are from experiencing God, even though you are in and of God, and you are God as they're coming through. But what they're saying is the reason why I can't recognize those other marks as having a recognizable shape yet or designation is because I'm still not seeing the picture large enough. But when we zoom all the way out to all that is, we realize that there's nothing actually wrong. So anyway, I just wanted to come on and share this message to you guys to say, yeah, it is what it is. And so it all pays off. What is it all? It all means all of the lives you've been living, all the stress, all the efforts that you make to better yourself. By bettering yourself, I'm not talking about changing your whole disposition, because you are always going to be as God created you, period. What you're doing when you're healing and you're bettering yourself is you're shifting your perception. You are choosing to heal the mindset, meaning, number one, you're choosing to recognize what you are, child of God, fragment of the divine, whatever beautiful word you want to use for that is up to you and the discourse that you have chosen to align with, right? But you're an aspect of creation, and you have the choice down here with your day-to-day actions of how you want to perceive whatever it is that's happening to you, right? And the more that you rack up perceptions that are self-empowering, that see you as love and as being lovable and as being able to give love, which is the highest call of being, then the closer you're going to get to what you to a recognition of, because you haven't actually changed, but a closer you're going to get to a recognition of who you really are and what you're entitled to by divine providence. Now, the more that you rack up its opposite, which is the belief in fear, it's the pessimism, the depressive thoughts, that I'm never going to amount to anything and all of that, the further away you take yourself, not from what you really are, because you cannot change what God has created. It cannot be changed. It's one of the rules of creation. But what you actually do is you take yourself further away from being able to recognize that. Now, there's beauty and power in the recognition, because down here we're like, well, what's the matter if we can recognize our joy or God self or whatever, or if we can't. Well, the difference is that, as you know, if you follow my channel, again, thank you for following and listening and chiming in when you do, if you follow, then you understand that what you believe your self-concept to be, it has no bearing on what you actually are, because again, what God has created, you are as God created. Now, your job is to find out what that is, right? But it's going to be joy-based. But what you choose to make your I am self-concept down here, whether it's I am impoverished, I'm a loser, I'm whatever, or I am worthy of all the best, whatever it is, whatever you choose to make your self-concept, and I mean for reals, make that your choice and eliminate through your self-work, your shadow work, and other means that you choose to go by, eliminate the voices in your own mind that are contrary to that reality, the more you will start to experience the physical reverberations of that non-physical designation. Creativity cannot occur in the physical. The physical at best is just a reflection of what your mind / your consciousness, mostly your subconscious, right? But what it deems to be real. And so that's why we're down here changing perceptions, as you know already if you follow this channel. To heal has nothing to do with the physical. It's merely about changing your perceptions at your core level of what you are, and thus what you're entitled to and what you're capable of doing or being. And until you can become solid in that, in the conscious and subconscious, and just keep working at it. You've been working at it for lifetimes, is what we do, right? Until you have really mastered that, you're going to continue to manifest in your quote-unquote world, your specific reality, evidence forms, people, places, things, situations, ideas, evidence that will support your self-concept. And if your self-concept keeps going left and right, you're going to manifest both forms. And then you really need to work hard to have the discernment down here to determine what energy, is it the life-giving energy of I am, or is it the life-detracting energy of I am not? Which of those energies is underlying the form, the person, place, thing, situation, idea that you are engaging with? Okay? So anyway, this is where Spirit's at. Spiritual strength is not for the faint of heart. And the reason why is because it requires, once you reach a certain level, and if you're watching this video, if you're listening to this audio, you're at that level. That's why this information is coming to you. But if you're at this level, then you reached a point in your soul's trajectory where you cannot just keep blindly following. You have the capability and the potential to step into greater agency and to recognize more of what you are, which, as we said before, is a sovereign, multidimensional co-creator being. Your sovereignty is where your free will lies, and that is a gift from God. But don't get confused and think that you can ever be outside of source, God, creator, whatever, because creation and source and God and all that is all that is. You are within it. So you have to drop the separation mindset and all of the false beliefs that go along with it, and remember what you are. Okay? Anyway, I'm going to roll out now because, I have to get back to work. But God bless you guys. And hope this, I don't know, is supposed to help. I hope so. Spirit said to send the message. I'm sending it. And God bless us. Bye.